What is up, guys? DS3TV here, and we are about to watch Old Crime Meets New Crime, The Gap by LADibble. They usually do some videos like this. So this is, you know, I guess like a older criminal meeting a newer style criminal. You know, so like a newer criminal, you know, somebody that's younger. So let's see how this goes.
35-year period, we stole something like 2.7 million between us.
What?
Jeez.
Didn't last very long either. The most we ever took in one go was 160,000, and that was between three of us.
Oh wow. LADibble.
Good to meet you. What's your name?
Cornet.
No.
No, nice to meet you. No.
Nice to meet you as well.
How you doing?
Good.
Different, boy. Different to what I was expecting.
Yeah?
Yeah, a bit.
What were you expecting?
I don't know. You know, you still got like something about you.
Crusty looking old geezer. I wouldn't read this without my glasses. What did you get sentenced for?
I had the cutting agent for cocaine. It's a legit thing, you know what I mean? It's legit, but it's just how you use it. So they said, oh, this guy has got 50 kilos of this shit, and he's obviously doing it with cocaine. What else is he gonna do it with? And it was...
If you haven't noticed, this is probably gonna be a video that's not for kids. So I'm telling myself that, so that way in the editing process, I don't get copyright claim. I don't get claimed and say that my video is not good. So I have to make sure to put that in the. I have to make sure to run that through the system or whatever. So that's the only reason why I'm saying that. Yeah.
It was just my birthday. I get like I don't do drugs, but I got given everything. I had cocaine on me, I had MD on me, I had cannabis on me, I had a knife on me, I had about 32 bottles of alcohol in the boot. So they hit me at the right time, you know. I think in total I got about 5 years, 8 months. What about you? You got a life sentence, right?
Yeah, I got life for armed robbery, possession of firearms and ammunition, conspiracy to rob, and possession of explosives.
No, not then. I had like a sentence in my head that if I got that year or two or whatever, that would make it worth it, but I got way more than that. Been out now for about 9 months.
Oh, nice.
What about you? How long have you been out?
I've been out 9 years last week.
9 years?
Yeah. What was the most you ever made from crime?
To me, a lot. Maybe not to other people, but to me, a lot. I could have had about a grand come in a day, but because they're in 10s and 20s and I'm buying food and I'm buying weed and I'm buying clothes, I don't really know, like, I could have hired 3 accountants and they probably still don't know what my in and my outs were, do you know what I mean? Because you just splash it as you go. What about you? How much money do you think you, way more than me, them banks, but.
Over a 35-year period, we stole something like 2.7 million between us.
Jeez.
Didn't last very long either. The most we ever took in one go was 160,000, and that was between 3 of us. I actually had mine in a Tesco's carrier bag under the bed. Within about 6 weeks, the bag was empty, and that was it. We were out, bang at it again.
You went for 50 grand in 6 weeks?
Yeah. You want to spend it fast, because if you get nicked with it, and the police get it back, it's pointless you have done it, you know what I mean? So we used to get rid of money quick, nick your money, spend your money, want more, eventually get caught, go to prison for many years, come out, and what are you good for? You're good for doing what you've done before you went to prison, because prison teaches you nothing. And that's why we could never get out of the game. Money comes and goes.
Money comes and goes, yeah, it's true. Did you ever carry a weapon?
When I became an armed robber, it was tools of your trade. You know, you had to carry something in order to intimidate and frighten people to give you their money. Every time I went out of my house, I had to check that I had at least one weapon with me. One was normally a gun. I used to carry a knife as well as a gun. Sometimes I would carry 2 guns, a knife and a stun gun. The only thing I've never really carried on the streets, and my mate offered me one time, was a box of grenades for £20 each.
£20?
Yeah, this was back in the 70s when you could get stuff like that nicked off army camps. I wouldn't carry a grenade because it's indiscriminate, but I always had to have something to protect myself and protect my family. And mainly, I've got to say, it was from the police. Did you carry weapons?
I carried a weapon, just a knife. I say just a knife, it's not just a knife, it's bad, but just a knife, like just always on the waist.
Did you ever use the knife?
Yeah, of course. It's not a toy.
A lot?
No, not a lot. I always had the mentality which other people don't share. Like, if I don't like that one person, it's just that one person. Nowadays, I think people are like, cool. If I don't like A and A rolls with B and C, then I'll get all of them. I'm not like that. I'm like, oh,
and that's not a good. That's not a good thing.
I'm not one of these people that will stab someone over a girl. It must have been late 2014. Lewisham had the worst stabbing rate in the whole of the boroughs.
Yeah. Why do you think that is? Why do you think it's got worse?
I think everyone has to take a bit of the blame. I think police service for a lack of numbers. I think even parents for the way they parent people.
Yeah.
Social media for what they condemn and what they allow. Councils, like there's no youth clubs. I don't see any youth clubs. I don't know if you do.
Yeah, budget cuts.
I couldn't be an MP or nothing because I would just blame so many people. I think at the moment everyone's so worried about the EU, they're not really worried about youth. People's getting stabbed left, right and centre. Describe the moment you knew there was no turning back on crime.
For me, it was every time I went in to rob somewhere, you know, I kind of felt the fear, but I couldn't, it was never a turning point. It was never a stop. Your gun's already half out, your mask's already half down. As you walk across the pavement and put your hand on the door of the premises, you're going to rob, because by then, you've committed yourself. What was the moment you knew when there was no turning back?
When you start to just sit there and you regret something, that's when I knew there was no turning back. I know that would probably deter some people, but with me, it's like I'm far too gone now. Like, but I probably went from selling 2 packs a day to 10 packs a day. I was always smart enough to know what I was doing was wrong, but I just never allowed myself to get to the stage to kind of reconcile that, to fix it. And once I see money, I couldn't stop.
I was more into the adrenaline rush, the danger, you know what I mean? The absolute feeling of being alive when you walk across that pavement. I was an insignificant kid, you know what I mean? I used to get bullied and beaten up by all the other gangs and that. So when I became in charge, when I had a gun in my hand or a weapon in my hand, I was 10 foot tall.
After you're over that initial fear, that initial like, shit, that's gonna be bad, it's all up. It's all like, you're ready, you know what I mean? It's all positive, it's all happy, you love what you're doing, and you must see it. Things deteriorate quickly, like from 1 bank to 2 banks to 4 banks. And
it becomes an addiction, same as violence. Violence can be an addiction as well.
Yeah, adrenaline rush.
Yeah.
Sorry. Describe prison food in 2 words.
Absolute shite.
Describe the contraband that was being sold.
Right, have we got an hour? You can buy anything in prison. If you've got the money, you can buy anything. Knives, Dartmoor was favourite for that, and a workshop made prison beds. So you can imagine the knives that come out of Dartmoor workshop. You're talking about sabres and everything, and daggers. The only thing you can't buy is a woman. Not in British jails. Food. Of course you can, because they used to have the prostitutes come in from the outside. Yes, you're right. I think the worst thing you can buy in prison, in the top security prisons, is you can buy someone's life. And you can get someone killed for 1/4 ounce of heroin, I think was the main price.
Was that like £200 on the road, if that?
Yeah. What things did you do to keep sane in prison?
Keep saying it's the visits. My mum, every month, every single month, she was there. Niece and nephews, my sisters. That's the only thing you look forward to. You must agree that visits are like the only thing you really look forward to in prison. Like,
I was different. I refused visits. I wouldn't let people come in from the outside because I didn't want the outside world intruding onto prison, because I think you can't live with 1 foot in prison and 1 foot outside. And because my sentences were very, very long, I kind of like, visits weren't for me. So my way of keeping sane was causing them as much trouble as I could, all the way through my prison system. Any way I could do it, I would do it. I'd make hooch, I would sell weapons, I would sell drugs, I would assault screws, I would set up riots, I would attack sex offenders. So I decided to myself, listen, if you want a criminal, I'm going to give you a fucking criminal. It was just mental, but it kept me going all the time, and it kept my brain ticking over until I discovered education. And once I discovered education, that became my drug, and that kept me sane.
For me in education, we never clicked.
Right.
Yeah, we never really liked each other, me in education. So
bunk school all the time.
I was just probably scared to be like, if I don't get the result I want, I'm gonna look stupid, so I might as well just be the class clown. From there, that's where it all kind of started probably. Like, I got kicked out 2 weeks for my GCSEs, had like 9 months out of school, literally just lawyer until next opportunity arises. But everyone has probably done bad or wants to be bad in their life goes for a little stage, a little window, maybe 13 or 15, where it's cool to be arrested. Have blue cards around you, you look almost famous.
I think if you don't educate yourself, then you can't understand the concept of rehabilitation. And that's why so many people in jail, it's like a revolving door to them, because they don't learn anything, they don't apply themselves, they just want to lay on the bed and watch the telly or take drugs.
Since going to prison and stuff, I've done Open University and all this stuff, and I'm learning the language now.
But you said you've been doing education since. Do you enjoy it now?
No, I don't enjoy it. No, I don't enjoy it. I just do it.
What do you do now?
So in prison, I learnt my craft as coffee. I'm a barista, I'm a roaster, I do a bit of work, do a bit of fixing machines and stuff like that. So now I work for a homeless charity,
right?
Who we hire homeless people through coffee. We pay them non-living wage, all that stuff. And hopefully sooner rather than later, I'm going to be teaching them how to make coffee. And I also work with kids with challenging behaviour. So probably kids that were like me, like 8 years ago or whatever. You must do something you're proud of.
Yeah, when I was in jail I wrote some books.
Nice.
Become a pretty talented writer, and when I got out I joined Inside Time, which is the national prisoners newspaper.
I've seen it.
And I'm the commissioning editor. I do a lot of talks and criminology tours, and I go into schools and young offenders places and speak to them and try and let them know that what they see, what they think their impression of prison is, as you well know, is not what it really is. And basically try and put people off. If you can stop one person from going down the line that we went down, then I think that is a job well done and it's worth it. And I think what you're doing now is a good thing.
So man, thanks so much, man.
Yeah, I think so.
Nice one.
That was a good video. Yeah, so that is it of that video. I mean, yeah, it was definitely something to see. Like, just to see, you know, an older criminal and, like, you know, a newer criminal, like, you know, they just both, they know what they did was wrong, and they want to, you know, like continue on with their life. Because there's a lot of criminals that just you know, they just don't care and they want to go back to jail anyway because they don't like being out. But then also, I do feel like the new criminal that was there too on the right, that he had that he was, I'm trying to think how to say this, like he was right in the fact that it doesn't make any sense it doesn't make any sense for you to want to give somebody, okay, so like if I give, I don't know, say, this is, okay, so now I know what I want to say. Like, okay, so it doesn't make any sense if you're like a criminal and you don't want to see some, like, you don't want, okay, if you're a criminal, why would you go back out and try to go into the workforce and they're not going to let you, and you know that because everybody else that has had a felony or something like that can't go back into the workforce at all, like in any job. Why would, like, you might as well just keep on doing crime. And honestly, that's why, like, I feel like a lot of robbers and, you know, stuff like that, they need to get rehabilitated so that they can get another job so they don't have to go back. Like, you know, besides sex offenders, everybody else, literally, that's what they need, is just a job so that way they can work and not have these thoughts. But yeah, so, you know, talk to you guys in the next video, which will be tomorrow. Peace.